Welcome to episode 2 of oSex with Karen and DJ. oSex stands for opposite sex, and Karen and I are going to take your relationship, sex, and love questions and try to assist you and solve some problems.
Yeah, we've been collecting questions over the last couple of weeks since our first episode aired. Thank you very much for those who participated. So without further ado,
I got nothing.
what about our sponsor?
Oh, we have a sponsor. Our sponsor is Romance. We should have rehearsed. Our sponsor is romance-text.com. Looking to reignite the passion in your relationship? Check this program out. It's $47, money back guarantee, romance-text.com. Okay.
So this week's dating don't comes from DJ.
Yeah.
This is for ladies.
So I was on a date with a lady, and we were walking to dinner, and we're in the city of Chicago, and there's some rodentia, of course, in the city. And as I was walking down the street, a little tiny mouse, probably 10 yards in front of us, 10 yards is a good distance, scurries across the sidewalk. My date freaks out. Now, she lives in the city. She loves the city. She wants to even raise children in the city, as she's told me. Starts screaming. A little tiny mouse, no more than that big.
So
Now, I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, can you reenact the scream?
Oh.
Was it like
Ah! Like that? Yeah. Which is the same scream I have when I see something for sale on at Banana Republic.
banana?
Yeah, I do the same. I make the same noise.
Sorry, we got a little off track.
So she screams, and this has to do with what we would call bringing your best self.
Right.
Was she bringing her best self to that moment? But here's the thing. Probably not. Here's the thing. She had a physical reaction that she probably couldn't change because she's terrified of mice.
Yes.
So I have this philosophy called if you can't fix it, feature it. Which basically means if you're going to freak out when you see a mouse and she couldn't have predicted we were going to see a mouse. So it's not like ahead of time she could have said, hey, I'm going to freak out if I see a mouse. She could have said right immediately afterwards, I have this weird thing with mice. I know that was kind of an overreaction, but I just have this I'm terrified of this phobia of mice. All would have been forgiven. But instead she was just like, please, I don't want to walk down the street anymore. And I said, I'll take care of it.
Were you supposed to carry her?
I'll protect you. We'll make
like,
it.
Was it like an officer and a gentleman kind of thing?
Yeah, I carried her to the car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How romantic.
With up there we belong. Right. Up where we belong. No, so my thing isn't the scream. That's fine, and in some way it was kind of cute seeing a girl scream with a mouse. That was kind of cute. But then for her to not acknowledge and appreciate how bizarre that is what really turned me off, because then what do we start thinking, audience, as men? How much else this must play into her life? How much
right. How much did she freak out about everything?
Exactly. And I started to pay attention and noticing she did freak out about just a lot of other things. But so here's the lesson. The dating don't is don't forget to apologize for your weirdness. You can apologize. You can say you're sorry. Last night, I was on a date and I said I wore the same shirt that I had written about on my blog saying I wear this shirt on every first date. I wore that shirt, forgetting that I had told this woman I have a blog. Check it out. So I get to the date. This is a dating don't for DJ. Yeah. Where a lot of alliteration there. I got to stumble through. And she said, oh, you're wearing the shirt that you wrote about on your first date. And I went, oh my God, I can't believe I forgot that I told you that my blog and I had. So anyway.
Kind of like, do you remember when you told me, like, oh, you probably know now that I pee in sinks? And I was like, what?
I hadn't told you?
No. But then I'm like, hey, what's that all about?
It's about being 6'2" and peeing in sinks. It's sterile. It's sterile.
It's gross. It's gross. Moving on. Let's get to our questions.
All right. Our first question comes from Mr. HIT, Mr. HIT. And the question is, since you are both divorced, how do you handle dealing with a new partner of your ex if you have kids when you were married? What do you think?
Well, a couple of things. One, new partner of your ex, no kids, no contact. There's no reason. If you have kids with the ex, I would say keep your feelings to yourself, particularly if they are negative. Your kids pick up on your vibes. Lots of times they'll repeat what you say or strike out on your ex's new partner. Um, Not that I have a lot of experience with this, but certainly I've watched it go down with close people to me. I've watched this sort of behavior actually take place. So that's my advice: is just to keep it neutral, take the high road.
Yeah, don't contribute to your children's emotional response that they're going to have anyway to a new partner. They may have their own anger or their own um, happiness or fear or whatever feelings they're having about their parents' new partner. Don't contribute in a negative way to whatever they're going through because they're dealing with their own stuff.
Absolutely, it's a great point.
Great. Well, done.
Bravo.
Solved.
I know.
No MFing the new partner.
Yeah.
Done. Guy owes us a drink or something. I'm back on caffeine, as you know.
I know.
So
We'll get you out.
I know. Our next.
This one's from Kitty.
Go ahead.
Meow, 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 meow. I have a friend who I briefly had a relationship with for 1 month, which was quite physical, although it didn't involve sex. I love him and he cares for me, but he decided that it wouldn't work out and I wanted to remain friends. I still want more than that. However, I can respect his wishes. We have a lot in common and I still do want to be his friend. It's just very hard on me. It's only been 2 months since our breakup. Is it too awkward to remain friends at this point? Should I cut my losses or try to make this work? DJ?
I've been through this many times. It's very difficult, but here's where the difficulty lies. I believe initially.
Mm-hmm.
You have to determine, you being the person who wrote this question, Kitty, do you want this person as a friend? And if so, what is it that you're receiving in the friendship?
Right.
Are you in fact receiving value as a friend, or are you simply being friends to hope that there's a step ladder into a deeper relationship in the future?
Right. Because you're just setting yourself up for hurt. Also, we talked about maybe setting some boundaries. Set some boundaries.
Like what kind of boundaries could she set?
Well, for example, that you're feeling lonely. This is not the person to call.
No. And if you are still being physically intimate with this person in any capacity, you probably should eliminate that as well because that will create confusion.
Right. Particularly hugs are the gateway. Hugs are gateway actions sometimes if you're wanting more.
But they feel so good.
As long as it's not a creepy hug.
Yeah, you gotta break.
I guess like an embrace is cool, like this.
Oh.
But the minute that you just start.
Yeah, keep doing that. That felt so good. I have so much chest hair.
I felt that through that t-shirt.
It's disgusting.
It's
so if you noticed that quick cut right there, it's because we cut out about 2 minutes of a chest hair story that I told that we decided ultimately should not make the final edit.
Kind of disgusting, completely superfluous.
I liked it. Okay.
Mow your lawn.
So we've answered Kitty's question. You basically have to set some boundaries and determine if the friendship is actually something that you want and not just a secret desire to get better in their favor.
Correct.
Okay. Question number 3 comes to us from Charles. So this question, one of our racier questions, is how do I tell my girl that even though the oral sex she gives me is good, I would like her to perform it a little wilder, such as in porn? You want to try to tackle that one?
Sure, I'll give it a
He got more specific about
yeah,
specifically what
yeah.
he wants, but we don't need to talk about that.
No, we'll let all of you kind of draw your own conclusions about that. Particularly if you've seen a pornographic or adult film, as we'll call them,
Yeah,
adult films.
give them proper respect they deserve.
Respect. Um, so, there's a couple ways you could go about this, but I guess the most important question, and I often get criticized for always answering a question with a question, but does she have a point of reference for what you're asking for? For example,
Good point.
does she know? I mean, have she seen a pornographic, or I'm sorry, an adult film? Because if she has not, then you describing this to her is going to come across as a little odd or tasteless. My suggestion, which if she does not have a point of reference, not that I am a huge proponent of watching adult films together. If that's your thing, wonderful. I don't like to force others to watch adult films. It's not for everyone. But if she seems into it, I would suggest watching a movie together later when you are.
Hey, you see that?
No,
I
no,
like that.
no. What I'm thinking though is later when you are intimate, you could kindly whisper to her, "Hey, do you remember that thing? I'd really like you to do that." And it would be, and that way she saw it, she knows what you're looking for specifically, and you kind of don't come across as overly creepy.
Right. Now, here's how to do it if she's not into watching that film with you. Here's what I know about women that is one of the few things I've learned.
I love these. Like,
Yeah.
this, I know everything about.
I know everything about this particular topic. Um, a woman will do just about anything if she is in the right mood. And she will turn into a person that, on a conscious, uh, sort of everyday conversation, if you were to suggest, hey, by the way, I'd really appreciate it if you did this and this the next time we were intimate, she might run away screaming. But if in the proper moment, which is usually right at the heat of the battle,
Would you suggest wine be involved in this?
wine or Xanax, one of the two. Um,
Xanax.
no, no, definitely. I am saying during foreplay or during a more physically intimate session,
Mhm.
you can whisper into her ear, you know what would be really exciting or hot? I would love it if you did more of this, or if you did this a little harder or softer or
Agreed.
whatever.
Agreed.
And you will find that a conscious conversation you had during the day about this topic will not be as well received as during the heat of the moment. Women seem to have a switch that can get flipped that all of a sudden enables them to do all sorts of terrible things. It's true.
Okay.
Terrible things.
Mm.
Terrible, wonderful things.
All right. Next question.
Okay. Our last question today. I'll let you read it.
It's from Jen. Help me, DJ and Karen. I'm single, extremely introverted gal in a smallish city who doesn't like bars and sees the same married or friend-zoned men day in and day out. When I do happen upon dateable men, I become paralyzed from the top of my head down. I can't approach them. If they approach me, I seem only capable of a mild social anxiety-inspired throat noise, as my ex angrily put it when I write a joke involving him. Do you have any awkward girl meets boy tips? Can you give me hope? Should I just, let's see, or should I just get me to a nunnery? It must be English.
Yeah, nunnery, she means.
Yeah, nunnery.
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 Okay, I'll take this one first.
Okay.
Because I, without any hyperbole or exaggeration, was absolutely terrified of talking to women until I was 21 years old. And anyone who knew me before then could verify that. And I mean, I was popular. I had friends, and I could not. The idea of asking a woman out on a date, I did once when I was 13, got rejected, and then I did have one date when I was 16. But other than that, I did not have any women in my life until I was 21.
Not even school dances?
No, I did take girls to school dances, but just friends. So here's how I got over this being terrified. First of all, I I thought that really beautiful women
Hmm.
were somehow much better than I was. They were better people. So I put them up on these pedestals. I made them huge and large and so important to me that it would be like the equivalent of meeting the president. And as a result, I was terrified. I couldn't do it. I just felt I don't want the rejection, and it kept me safe to just not even approach them
Okay.
because I knew I was going to get rejected. To me, they just weren't regular people.
Hmm.
So what I had to do was two things. One, I had to realize that everyone's really all the same. We're all kind of just, the same mess of problems,
We've
insecurities.
all got we've all got our own shit.
Totally. And second, I had to get used to talking to people. So what I
Right.
started to do, and we talked about this, is I legitimately started talking to everyone I came across in my daily life.
Hmm.
If I was in the grocery store, I would think of something funny or cute to say. I would be standing in line. I would turn to the person behind me and make just a cute little comment like, for example, if you're buying a bunch of junk food, you could always say, I'm a little embarrassed to be sitting here with all this junk food. Please don't judge me. Like people get a laugh out of
Like, ooh, where'd you get those pretzels?
that. No, I wouldn't say that. But if it's an 80-year-old woman, say the same thing. If
Heck
it's if
yeah.
it's a 25-year-old woman, say the same thing. Talk to the person in front of you. If it's a man or a woman, get used to talking with people.
I agree. I was actually horribly shy for most of my life. Probably all the way up until my senior year in high school. Just I again never dated. I also was horribly scared of men and just strangers in general. Probably the biggest help I had was I had a retail job, so I interacted with the public a lot. Gave me a lot of practice with talking to strangers. That was when I was 16, so it makes sense. So by the time I was about 17, I had the routine pretty down, and gave me a great foundation to go to college and become a dating machine.
Here's so what I always liked that's you and I are kind of similar in that respect.
Hmm.
Although I didn't become a dating machine until a little bit later, but the have a couple of funny things to say holstered or chambered rather.
So
Yeah,
you're saying have
have some canned
some
things.
canned go-to
Here,
jokes?
here's what I used to. Here's one thing I used to do to start a conversation. Men are traditionally supposed to open the door for women when they're entering a building or exiting a building.
Right.
Well, if you work at a building where you're going to interact with people as you're opening the door. As a woman, this is Jen's as a woman, of course. She could open the door for a man and say, and then she could open the door, hold the door open for a man, which like never happens to guys. Do that and then say, all right, you owe me next time. Now, as silly as that is, that will start. The guy will laugh. He'll get a little chuckle out of it. It's not the
Hmm.
greatest joke in the world, but it's cute enough.
Hmm.
He'll get a joke, and then he will say something back to you, and then you can
Agreed.
start a conversation.
Yes. Stay away from lame-o conversations like weather.
No,
Weather sucks.
yeah,
Totally sucks.
yeah. Just have a couple cute things holstered, like uh, I don't know.
Like for me, elevator. If I'm holding the elevator open for somebody, and I do often, it doesn't matter who it is, man or a woman, and they say thank you very much. My usual response is, well, you're lucky it isn't Friday, because
Because,
if it were, you'd be on your own.
yeah, that's funny.
Totally.
Well, I do a similar thing in the elevator. When I get into an elevator, if somebody's walking, I hold it, because to be polite, but then I stick my head out. I go, hurry up. And it is so funny. Now you have to be cute about it, but you say hurry up seriously, and then they start hustling over and you just start smiling and they begin to go, I love doing that. It's so funny. If you can, that's a really funny one too. But you
Yeah.
have to so
Yeah. Yeah.
have a couple of those things holstered. Just have some sort of conversation piece.
Mhm.
I knew a guy, and this is no exaggeration. I don't particularly like this particular question, but he used to say to start conversations with women, "Did you know that Elvis was a blonde who actually dyed his hair black?" which I didn't know either. But that's what he would say. Now, I don't know if you just say that to somebody standing in line at the grocery store. It's kind of a weird question.
Yeah,
But
actually, I'm just gonna go on record by saying anything involving Elvis that you bring up is gonna be in that weird category.
yeah, so have something. Um,
Not that Elvis is weird,
yeah,
but it's just weird.
yeah. So have a couple of things ready to go. Get used to talking to people. Make it a mission to talk to 5 strangers every day.
Yeah, and I walk around with a smile on your face, but not like a, but just kind of, keep it light. Look approachable.
Here's the easiest thing you can do to sort of start a conversation with somebody. Whenever you see somebody and you're next to them, and you could just say, "Wow, those are really great shoes," or "I really like your pants," or "I like your shirt." You don't have to say anything about their physical appearance.
No, like you
About
have huge knockers.
yeah, I've tried that.
Get you a slap.
Not well received.
Fresh.
So have something where you can just say, "Wow, I really like your shoes. Those are great."
Yeah.
And if you just say that, that will not only make that person's day.
Like, hey, the way that your wallet protrudes from your pants is really hot. Don't say that one.
It must be stuffed with money.
Yeah, I dig your wallet chain.
I noticed you paid in cash. That's really impressive. Um, so anyway, things like that. I get really excited at this because I love the prospect of talking to people, and you're talking to somebody who was terrified of talking to people. So I had a bunch of those things, and this is true. I'll say this last thing. This is how I got used to talking to women. 100%, no exaggeration. I would go to department stores. If I was nearby a department store, I would go to the perfume counter, and I would say, now this sounds like no, but this works for me. I would say,
Okay.
I'm looking to get some perfume for my sister, which was always true because I just never got anything for her. But I said, I don't know anything about women's perfume, also true. Could you help me pick something out? And then they will start working with you and they'll say, well, tell me about your sister. And I'd say, well, she's like this, and this. Again, I'm having a conversation, I'm having a dialogue.
This same story does not work in the lingerie department.
I need to get a thong back for my sister. So, go into a men's department store and say, hey, I need to get a tie for my father. Can you help me out? Right? And, if you don't get a tie, he's not going to know you're lying.
So, great little icebreakers.
Yep. Icebreakers are everything.
Baby steps. Learn to talk to people.
Well, that's all we got for this week.
Yeah, that was super fast.
So a couple of things. Remember to visit our sponsor, romance-text.com. Also, we need your questions. So, if you're on YouTube, there's a link that'll go straight back to my website, which will have a little form that you fill out. Submit your questions. We want to do this show as often as possible, and we need them. So love, sex, relationships. Anything. We want to help you. And with that, I guess we can just say goodbye.
All right. Bye.
Goodbye.